Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever I find you, as I wait for my buddy to get on and tell me, or maybe one of you in the community to get on and let me know in the chat that you can see and hear me. Let's feel our feet on the ground and connect with our body and what it's in contact with. You can do that with your hands. You can do it by feeling your feet. You can do it by wiggling your hips the way I am, swaying back and forward. Anything that will allow you to get a little bit more present and into your body. So I'm going to be answering another question from the community today. And if you happen to catch this preamble before I edit this video, or maybe I'll leave it in, we'll see. You are always welcome to ask questions below each of these videos. Thank you for letting me know. You can see and hear me. That's great. Any time that you are watching a video and you find yourself thinking, oh, that's made me think of another question, and I think that Carolyn doesn't need to see my chart, it's just a general question that would make a good video, you are always welcome to ask it in a comment. Of course, if I need to see your chart or you want a personal session, you'll be able to dig around and find a way to be able to do coaching sessions with me. There'll often be a link in the video description, or you just go to carolynsouthwell.com and you'll be able to click on the coaching link and find it there. So today, I'm going to be answering a question from a mental projector who asked a question below one of the videos, and I'll read it out to you in a moment. I've got it on my phone. If we haven't met before, I am Carolyn Southwell, 2-4 emotional projector. I've been playing with human design for 11 years, and the whole focus of this work is not just to learn about human design, but be able to live it. Yeah, because that's the whole point, to take in the theory and then apply it to your real life so you can have a friggin' fantastic life. So let's read the question. This person has said, I am relatively new to HD, but upon discovering I am a mental projector, suddenly so much falls into place. With regards to this video, now afterwards I'm going to put the video up here. It's called Projector Not Getting Invites to Guide, Feeling Bitter. Okay, so I'll link it up there and maybe I'll put it on the final screen so that you can see it there as well. So in regards to that video about, not getting invites and feeling bitter, the one thing that can send me spiraling into a dark hole of bitterness, this person said, is when I'm invited with compliments that sound like, oh, you were recommended. I hear you're amazing, blah, blah, blah. Then I tell them what my fee would be, which is not at all expensive, only to be met with sudden excuses. Basically, this person said, they want my guidance, my skills, but they do not feel they should pay. What is that all about? Do you have any pearls of wisdom? And does this happen to anyone else? Okay, so please give this person a shout out in the comments if you are also somebody who has had this experience. Now, I'm going to say something in a moment that if you have a choice point here. If you are somebody who wants to feel angry, upset, bitter, and right and make the other person wrong, do not keep watching this video. Just click away. But if you are like, okay, I really want to solve this, I really want to understand, I'm willing to look at what part am I playing in this so that I can change. If you're willing to be empowered, then keep listening. Okay? There's your warning. Because as projectors, we don't do anything in halves. So here's your opportunity to dive in and be truly empowered. So let me just have a look at my notes here and see how I'd like to approach this. The answer to this is actually quite short. What is actually happening here is that this person, and I've had this experience before as well, so I really know what this feels like. It can lead to all manner of bitterness, resentment, anger, frustration, all the things. What happens is we have a part of us, this person, I think it's a woman, this person has a part of her, a part of them that recognizes and values, oh, my work is worth this much. That's how they've set their fee. They say, my work is worth this much. And they're willing to say how much their work is worth out loud and say, this is what it will cost to work with me. However, I'm very confident in saying that the reason that it is met with such pushback is that there is another part of this person who is not on board with this price, who doesn't recognize and value this person's worth, right? So that's happening for all of us. What we need to do is we need to find these parts of ourselves that are not all on board with the same goal. Okay, so this can happen in any number of situations, but if we make it very, very specific to the projector and very, very specific to the projector and work. So whether it's you are looking to attract a certain wage or salary in a job, whether you are looking to charge a certain fee as a consultant or a freelancer, or whether you have a particular fee that you're charging for your services or your products in your own business as a projector. All of this applies. If you are putting your stake in the ground and saying, person who has invited me, this is how much it costs to work with me, it costs to have my attention, my guidance, my insights, my wisdom, and you are getting anything other than, oh, that sounds fabulous, how do I pay you? Oh, great, just send me an invoice. Oh, yes, just send that through to my team and we'll get it paid. If you're getting any sort of resistance, that is a clue to you that there is something you are holding internally that is creating that resistance, and you're seeing that resistance on the outside of you. Now, for some of you, you'll be like, oh yeah, I knew this lesson, I forgot. And others who are watching this might be like, what the fuck is she talking about, right? Everything that we hold internally gets reflected out and it gets shown back to us in our relationships with other people. It is often taught in human design that as projectors, we are incapable of seeing ourselves. We're very, very good at seeing the other, but we can't see ourselves. The hack is to realize that the way you see yourself is to look at the reflection you're getting back at yourself from the other. So when I knew that I had a whole lot of, the example that comes to mind, I knew I had a whole lot of unresolved anger when I kept attracting angry men. And it was like, and it took me a while, but I suddenly realized, oh shit, these men that I keep finding keep getting angry and angry and angrier. Oh, they're reflecting my internal anger. That's for me to look at. And when I started to shift that, everything shifted on the outside because I'd started by shifting what's on the inside. Now that might seem like a strange example, but that was the one that came up for me as I'm sharing. So there are so many different examples and different ways I can explain this same thing. And I could probably talk about different examples and different ways to say the same thing for like an hour. But really, if you're in a position to get this, then you will have already got this. Your job, when you meet resistance on the outside, when you say your price, your fee for somebody to work with you, whether in whatever context, the context that I explained before, right? Any way that you're going to say, hey, it costs this much money to work with me, and you get met with any kind of resistance, like, yes, you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed, this is not to bypass. This is really important. I'm glad I found this tangent. This is not to bypass. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be resentful. You're allowed to be bitter. You're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to be disappointed. You're allowed to feel whatever you're feeling. That is okay. And take a step back, and once you're out of the situation, come into yourself and work with the part of yourself that maybe doesn't feel like you can easily receive that much money. And if you don't know how to do that work, that's okay. It's a skill. It's a skill that took me a lot of years to learn. It is something that is now like my favorite thing to teach people. I can do that in a deconditioning support session. This session is called trauma-informed tapping. So I do it through tapping at this point in time. And I'll put a link below this video so that you can book that if that's something that's interesting to you. And it doesn't matter whether or not whether you're the person who says, look, I'm kind of confused by what she's saying, but I know that you're onto something, Carolyn. I want your help. Just like, can you explain that better? Take me from like the total newbie who's hearing this for the first time and help me work out how to do that thing you're talking about. Or you could be somebody who's very, very skilled at it, but you just needed a little bit of support to go deeper, we can do any of those things. We can do all of those things, right? It doesn't matter where you are on that spectrum. If I'm your person to do that depth of work with, then I can support you in doing that. Now, if you have further questions about anything that I've shared in this video, please pop them in a comment. I recognize that there are so many different ways that we can take this conversation, and 100 different projectors could hear this video and all have different levels of understanding or perception or reactions to the things that I've just said. So you're welcome to pop in a comment and let me know how it landed. And specifically, if there's anything in here that is confusing, or if it has caused you to think of more nuanced, deep questions around this topic, I welcome them. A reminder, it's very useful and appropriate to ask a question that I can answer in a video where I don't need to see the specifics of your chart. That is just a broad general question. If you want something more specific than that, that's where one-on-one coaching comes in, and there is a link in the video description. Bye for now.